welcome back to my channel. So today, in a different location yet again, you will find out why in a few videos time. So sorry if it sounds a bit echoey. Can't currently be in my room, so that's fun. But it's for a good cause. So well worth the wait for it. So for today's video, I'm going to do my top 5 holiday destinations that I've either been to or want to go to, and the reasons why. I thought it would be a little bit fun to do whilst in lockdown. Nobody can go anywhere, nobody can go on holiday, so why not reminisce about the places that I have been and that I want to go. I was meant to have just come back from a holiday, so thought why not make a video about holidays to kind of feel a bit better about it. So let's jump right in and I hope you enjoy it. Okay, so I'm going to start with number 5 and then work my way up to 1. So all of these are quite high on my list. I want to go travelling a lot, and this video is probably inspired by the TV show that I'm currently watching. It's on every Sunday at 8 PM on BBC Two, and it's actually just about to finish, and the last episode is this coming Sunday, and it's called Race Across the World, and it's a really good TV show. It started last year, and so this is the second season of it, and it's basically they have 5 teams of 2 people. They could be family, they can be together, mother son, father daughter, any which way the 2 people want. They can just be friends as well, and they basically they have a start point and they have an end point. So last year's season they had to get from London to Singapore. Now it is a race, so there's checkpoints all along the way, and it lasted for about 60 days. Obviously not to watch on the TV, but all in all it was 60 days it took them. And the whole idea of it is to not travel by aeroplane, and you have to do any other mode of transport. So it all has to be land or sea transport, and it has to be done for the same price as the plane tickets would have cost. So it's basically it's a competition, and so more areas of the world are explored, and it gives so many different experiences than what just flying from London to Singapore would do. So this year they're in South America. Now I missed the first few episodes, so I don't actually know where they started. I'm going to assume Mexico, because when I started watching it they were on the far west coast of South America, going down like Chile, and then they went up through Argentina, and they've just hit Brazil and then come all the way back across to Argentina again. So I presume they're going to go across and then up again. Don't know where the final checkpoint is because I've missed the first episode, but I love it nonetheless. So today's video is inspired by that. I really want to do the programme myself. My mum is not up for it. Sam is up for it, but not as much as I am. You are fully immersed into the life of that country and the culture. They can do jobs along the way to earn a bit of money, and they get like compass, a map and a booklet of jobs that are in like different countries along the journey, but they don't have any phones. They're not allowed to use the internet or any like telecommunications device. However, they can ask people of the countries that they pass by, just on the streets, to Google things for them. So it's a real different way of doing it, and would love to do it myself. Don't think I'd ever have the time to do it because, like I said, it takes about 60 days. I don't have that time training to be a teacher. I get summer holidays, that's the longest, and that's 6 weeks, and that's still not long enough. So unfortunately, I don't think I'll ever be able to do it, but I still do want to travel. So that moves me on to country number 5, and that is Thailand. Now I really want to go to Thailand. It's not somewhere that I'd ever thought I'd want to go to when I was younger, like a few years ago. The culture is so different. I don't like Thai food, so I don't think I'd get on in that respect, but the views are amazing, and it's such a picturesque country that really entices me to go. I don't know whether I will ever go, but it is one of my top 5 destinations, hence why it's in this video. Although it is at number 5, it doesn't mean that it's disregarded in any respect, because of the fact that it has made my top 5. Shows that I do want to go there. I haven't really looked into it actually, so I don't know if I did look into it a bit more that I would actually be put off by it in any sort of way. I just love countries that you wouldn't normally go to for like a standard like sunny beach, drinks by the pool sort of holiday. I have a couple in my top 5 countries similar, for the reasons that I want to go. I want to go to be able to explore the country and explore the landscape and sort of all the not your typical touristy sightseeing holidays. I just thought it'd be a really great experience, so that's why I wanted to go to Thailand. Haven't been, would like to go, but like I said, I don't know whether I ever will. I'll just have to see. So moving on to country number 4. Now this is a holiday destination that I've gone to many times before, and it's proof that I do love it so much because it is in my top 5, and in all honesty I wouldn't go back and keep going back if I didn't love it as much as I do. And this country is Tenerife. I absolutely love it. I first went there in 2008 with my mum and my dad, so they were still together. One of the reasons why I think I still love the country is because it's one of the last family holidays that we had as all 3 of us. So it went Tenerife, and then we did Disneyland in Florida as in 2009, so that's why I remember it. I know it was the year before. So I absolutely love Tenerife. It actually has the biggest water park in Europe, and this is called Siam Park. Now I am a lover of water parks. Don't actually go to that many. I've been to the ones in America, in Disneyland, which are Blizzard Beach and Typhoon Lagoon for anybody who's wondering, and I've been to Siam Park. I love Siam Park. There were a few rides when we first went I didn't go on. I was too scared, too young. There's still a few rides, in fairness, that if I went back relatively soon I wouldn't go on. So Tenerife is a well and true favourite of mine, and the only reason that it's not actually higher on my list is the fact that there is other countries that I haven't been to that I'd want to explore and have wanted to explore for longer. But I've been to Tenerife I think about 4 times. When we went in 2008, we did Siam Park, which is in the south side of the island, and then we did Loro Park, which is the island zoo, which is in the north part of the island. And the only trouble is with doing both of them, they do offer a twin ticket to get both parks slightly cheaper, with coach transfer included. The only trouble is I get really bad travel sickness, and me and coaches do not mix well. I think the furthest I've been able to go on a coach in a foreign country is probably about half an hour before I start to feel really ill, and it's actually nearly a 2-hour coach journey to get there, because it is literally from one end of the island to the other. Loro Park is an amazing zoo. I'm also a zoo lover. I have a list of zoos on my phone that I have been to and that I want to go, slowly ticking them off. Like I said, I've been back a couple of times since, mainly with just my mum. So I've been with my mum twice before, just the 2 of us, to Tenerife. And then we have also been once with me, her and her boyfriend. Absolutely love the island. We've been all along the west coast right up, and then we've also been in like the southern part of the island, which is the more touristy bits. Yeah, that's it's at number 4, like I said. It would have been higher if I did take a little bit of consideration. I didn't know where to put it. I think if I was doing places that I have been, it would be number 1 rather than number 4. But number 3, I'm now going to move on to, and that is Canada. Now, I don't actually know where I want to go in Canada. The only places that I actually know are Toronto. That's about it for the places that I know in Canada. I'm pretty sure it's in Canada. If not, I've just completely made that up. I know it's a place, I just don't actually know where it is. Geography is definitely not my strong suit. I've wanted to go to Canada for a very long time. Again, it's a very picturesque country. I would love to go travelling through Canada, not just to go to one place within Canada, go to different cities, go to different towns, do mountain walks. I don't really know what it fully has to offer, so it's hard to kind of talk about what drew me to Canada, especially the fact that it's at number 3. I think it's based on photos that I've seen and stories that I've heard from people that have been to Canada. I did and ah between Canada and America. America's not actually within my top 5. I would put it at number 6 if I was doing a top 10. I'd love to do road trips through America, and that's sort of the thing that I want to do and go back to, as well as the Disney parks, because I am a Disney fan and I would love to go back and actually remember them, because I did them when I was 9 years old. I don't fully remember the holiday, but it is one that I will cherish forever, because it's the last family holiday that me, my mum and dad ever went on. So that will always have a special place in my heart, but I chose Canada over it despite that. And I think it was the fact that I haven't actually been to Canada before, and I love the excitement that it brings in my head, in fairness. It's a country that I've loved the sound of for ages. I don't think I'd go there in their summer months. I think I'd go there more in their winter months. Now, I'd probably regret that once I'm there, because I'm the person that feels the cold and absolutely hates the cold. So would regret that, but it would be an experience of a lifetime, it really would. I'd probably complain the whole time about how cold it is, especially going up mountains and things like that. I wouldn't want to ski. I don't know if they do skiing in Canada. I'm not very well informed on these places that I do actually want to go, but there is just something that is in my head about these countries that are pulling me towards them, hence why they are in my top 5. So I'm going to move on to number 2 now. Now, number 2 is, I don't actually know where it is in the world, so that's a good start, but it is Bali. Again, it's one of those places that always come up on like my Facebook ads, on like cheap holidays, and I think it's cheap once you're there, but to get there it's fairly expensive. I could be wrong. I've tried to look into it before. I have actually looked into pricings of it, but it was a few years ago now, so I can't really remember, and realised I didn't actually have the time to go, so it didn't really stick. So that would be number 2. Now, it is quite high on my list actually, and that is simply because of how picturesque the country is, and the wildlife and the landscapes that it has to offer. I love all the like natural pools that are formed, and all like the rock faces and the mountains. It's also quite a warm country from what I can see in the photos, so that's why it's at number 2. Again, it would be a country that isn't your standard sort of touristy, let's sit on a beach and sunbathe, or sit by the pool for a week or 2 weeks and just relax. It would be a holiday that I would want to go exploring in. So that's why I want to go to Bali. Would love to explore more and go hiking all in the mountains and the rocks, just to really explore. And I think that's the traveller instinct within me coming out again. Like I said, I want to do Race Across the World, and that very much involves that sort of style of life, where you are out in the elements and you are exploring, and you do kind of have to fend for yourself. So that's why Bali is at number 2. Now, my country at number 1 is Australia. Now, this probably comes as no shock to anybody who knows me. I actually have been to Australia. I went out there for my 2nd birthday. My auntie, so my dad's sister, used to live out there. But because I was so young, I don't remember it. So it's basically like I haven't been at all. I know I did some really cool things whilst I was out there when I was little. Because I went to the standard sort of typical tourist attractions. So I went to the Sydney Opera House, I did the Great Barrier Reef. My dad actually climbed the Sydney Harbour Bridge. What else did we do? We went to Bondi Beach, we did a helicopter ride. So we did actually quite a lot while we were out there, and we stayed with my auntie whilst we were out there. But I would absolutely love to go back now. It has been on my bucket list since I was about 4, and that is because of Steve Irwin. Now, he was an absolute idol of mine. I grew up watching his programmes, absolutely adored him. And it really hit hard when he died, even though I was so young. It did impact me a lot. So on my bucket list is to go to Australia. That's at number 1 on my bucket list, as well as my holiday destinations. And at number 2 is Steve Irwin Zoo in Brisbane. Like I said, I am a lover of zoos. It is on my list of where I want to go. And hopefully next year, next July, I will be able to tick those 2 things off my bucket list. And that'll be something amazing to happen. I'm not really too fussed where I end up in Australia as an overall holiday destination, as long as I go to Steve Irwin Zoo, which my dad and his wife are hopefully going to make possible. They have promised me that it will happen, whether it will happen next year for my 21st because of COVID-19. I'm really hoping that it can, because I'm super, super excited. I've always loved the country. Again, I love the landscape, I love the wildlife, everything that the country has to offer, in actual fact. It's just a completely different world. It is hot all year round. My dad is currently living in Cairns, which I think is the east coast, like it's northeast coast. So they're currently in their wet season. But it is still really hot and humid. It is just like being in a tropical rainforest up there, is how he explains it. But I would love to be able to do sort of like what I want to do in America, a road trip around Australia. Now, I know somebody who recently has moved to Australia within the last year or 2, and she went out there. I used to work with her. And she's gone travelling all around Australia. And it's something that I'd really want to do, but I think I'd start with it as a holiday destination. Again, I would obviously go out there for more than just a week, because it is such a way to travel. To go there for a week, by the time your jet lag stops and you get used to the time zone difference, it will be just about time to turn around and go back again. So I'd ideally go for 3 weeks, 2 weeks as a minimum. I am looking to go for the 3 weeks next year. Because I'm staying with Dad, it works out a lot cheaper to do. So I would just stay with them for 3 months. God, I wish I had that time. I'd just stay with them for 3 weeks and explore. They'd still be at work at times, so they would take time off and would obviously still do things on the weekend, but it means that I'm actually going to go out there with Sam, so we would get a lot of time to explore and do sort of things that we'd want to do. So I'm really looking forward to that. It's been on my bucket list for as long as I can remember, like I said, and that is why it's on the number 1 spot on my holiday destination list. So that completely sums up this video. I hope you were interested to hear about my holiday destinations. I hope it hasn't kicked in the holiday blues too much. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed. Make sure to give this a like and don't forget to subscribe. And I will see you all again soon. Bye!